Good morning, everyone. Today we will learn how to grab the best job in the industry. Okay, how to get the best job that is available in the market. Let's return to what we've been doing. I think we have been learning, to use information in different ways. We have also been trying to find, what sort of information can be useful for us in some or the other way. So. Uh, you must have seen what have we been doing. We've been using the information from everywhere. ठीक है कैसे कैसे तो for example, from the data that we use, ठीक है, we interpret the data and we come to a conclusion, or we at least form our arguments. In the same way, we use the quotes, or we use different written material by experts in the field, or some noted personalities, some industry experts. So I think, when we use these data, or when we use these quotes, I think what our argument becomes is it becomes more stronger, and it becomes more powerful. Okay, how powerful can a written piece of material be? I think it can be very powerful because if you've known about journalists, investigative journalists, okay, they almost have the power in one article, okay, because they construct the article in such a manner, and they focus the materials, the ingredients of the article in such a manner that has a very hitting effect. Okay, and even politically, like, this can have huge repercussions, and in other manners as well, like policy making, or if you look at probably a limited space, okay, in your own organization. I think if there's something that you want, if there's some policy change, or if there's something that you think that can be useful for everyone, it can be achieved by writing or expressing, or by expressing your ideas in such a powerful manner that probably the whole management looks forward, or is moved to act the way you think, and you have professed that this makes sense, or this is the best way to do something, or to have something. So what I'm trying to say, that this information is very powerful. Okay, we can absolutely everywhere, every time, we can use the information. And if we have this view, we would find data and material everywhere lying, okay, everywhere floating in the air. Okay, you can identify things, and that can be kept in your mind as a repository, which you can take out and use, whenever you want, whenever you like, whenever it fits your specific requirements. Now the requirement in focus at this point of time is to get the job, the best job. Okay, so we'll try to understand the nature of jobs. Okay, what sort of jobs are there in the market? Okay, how you get to a job, how does a job vacancy, the information of a job vacancy reaches you, and what generally is the mechanism. Okay, this whole market we'll try to understand. Once we have some information on it, I think it will be easy for us to play. Okay, play like a game. Okay, once you know how the ball works, if it spins left or right, okay, you can spin it and you can probably win the game. So it's just like that, to know the structures, to identify how it works, and then to use it for your own benefit. Okay, so my argument is that, in fact, not my argument, let's say that it's my observation. um, i I would want to say that there are at least three kinds of jobs in the market. Okay, and or at least there are three types, or there are three ways in which a company recruits employees for its organization. Okay, three levels, or three sort of jobs that come out in the market. Okay, the first job is what I would call en masse. Let's call them the jobs reserved for laborers. Okay. Now, the reason why I'm calling this is because it can be interpreted in this manner. Okay. Although the companies offering these jobs would never call these jobs to be jobs reserved for laborers, but the nature of the jobs is such. Okay. Why? Because you probably need a lot of thousands and thousands of people, to do certain job. Okay, that probably is not really manual labor, but humans, or human activity, or the presence of some people with low set of skills, okay, are required in a large number. The examples could be, um for example, Tata Consultancy Services, or Wipro, for example. Okay, it was very popular in the media that almost like 50 to 60,000 of fresh graduates every year they would recruit all across, uh, either good or medium level colleges from all across India. ठीक है, they could be BTech graduates, or they could be MBAs. But I think it's surprising that companies um, uh, so big and with so huge requirements that they recruit 50,000 students, fresh graduates, ठीक है, with hardly any skills which suits the work environment, the job requirements, ठीक है. And everywhere, every year, they're recruiting so many people. So the if you probably analyze, I would probably call these jobs um as the term which I used earlier. And they cannot be very high paying jobs, and they cannot be jobs which need very high set of skills. And so um, it is very possible that um, these jobs are not very important. These jobs, if you probably land, or if you probably work towards getting a job like this, okay, you probably would not be learning too well, or learning the important things in the business or in the trade. And you could be one of them, who's probably handling some data, or maybe, even if you're creating something, even if you're developing, say, softwares or something like that, okay, I think the nature of the jobs would not be so special. Okay. And so the salary, because the kind of skill sets, or the kind of job, the skills that the job requires, okay, I think the salary is absolutely directly proportional to the demand, right? Okay. The demand, or the nature of the jobs, in fact, take the quality of the jobs. So now what happens, whenever a company has to recruit, okay, now we'll understand ki, how does a company go about recruitment. Okay, now we understand that, a company recruits, say, 50,000 students every year. So what is the most economical way for them to get to these prospective employees? Okay, we have to focus there, the cost factor for the company, because this is the most important factor for any of the companies. So um, we see that whenever a company has to recruit people on such a huge number, I think to go to a place where already there are so many employable students looking for employment, that would be the most profitable, that would be the most cost effective manner. So I think this is the reason why these companies go to all these universities, all these colleges, and they have the access to almost 3,000, 4,000 students at one place where they deploy two or three of their human resource employees, and they can recruit, people quickly from these places. Maybe 500 students from one university, one college, if they are able to recruit. I think that's a very cost effective thing, because you can compare it to, say, advertising on the media, and then lining up so many people over a long period of time in your office. Again, your office probably would not be able to have that sort of an infrastructure which a college or a university can provide. They probably have huge conference halls, or places where they can seat so many students, and they can also interview. They can have activities like group discussions, and then personal interviews to sort out the kind of people that they want with mediocre level skills. Okay. Now skills can be of anything. Okay. It can be technical skills, it can also be interpersonal skills. Okay. So what we are learning, for example, if we are learning about communication, I think it is a very important thing. And in the outside, in the industry, I think this is a huge you know the maker of a difference, or I think yes, matlab, it's critical. It's important. If you're able to speak, if you're able to communicate, not just that, if you're sweet, and if you're impressive in a manner that you can also be persuasive, I think that has a huge impact. in getting a job in the corporates these days, regardless of the fact that if you're in the back end office, or if you are at the front end where you're probably interacting with the customers and your clients. So communication is absolutely important. Even internal communication is very important, because that would create miscommunication, and that would the lack of it would create miscommunication, and that can have a huge cost impact on the company. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that if I have a company and if I want to recruit people, in thousands and thousands of numbers, ठीक है, then probably going to a university would be cheapest for me. ठीक है, it will be the cheapest for me, and the nature of these jobs will be such that I do not look for experts. ठीक है, I do not look for experts, because even to look for experts to identify what skills do they have, I would have to invest a lot of time. But here I'm saving my time, and I'm saving my cost as well, and I'm getting the access to the maximum number of students at one place, which is actually producing students, or employees, or future employees. They're producing people to be employable in the industry. So this is the cheapest option for me, but this is the worst kind of jobs that you can probably find, because they are in high numbers. सब जगह फैला हुआ है, बहुत सारे jobs हैं. They don't really care about what uniqueness that you have, and the work that you'll probably be able be employed to do will be very low skill and low priority jobs. ठीक है? Okay, so now I'm sure that you do not want to land on one of these jobs. I'm sure about that, because I'm sure that if you're learning, if you're studying, if you're working so hard, you would want the best jobs in the industry, right? Okay, so now let's look at the second kind of jobs that there are in the market. Okay, now these jobs are jobs which require certain skill sets, or at least some intelligence or some learning that you've learned in the school, in your colleges. Okay, but with some identifying parameters. Okay, so somebody who's uh, going to recruit people of this category, I think they need to invest a little more time into it. Okay, so I have my investment as time, and the second investment that you already know is the cost of the space and the infrastructure, and even deploying your human resource to recruit people. ठीक है, तो again I'm going to or I'll be at least willing to save my time and this cost. ठीक है, तो what can I do, or what I think I can do? So I think what I can do is that I can ask my employees. Now देखो, these jobs which are a little important would be lesser in number, absolutely, because and in what category can we place them? I think let's place them that if an organization needs 50,000 people for the lowest strata of jobs, I think for this medium strata of jobs, I think they would require, let's say, 100 or 200 people, and they already have employee strength of maybe a lakh, maybe at least a lakh, even if they're hiring and firing, and even if the jobs are on a rotation. I think still let's say that they have a lakh of employees with some experience, and they also have connections. So what I'll do is that probably internally to all my employees, I'll send across a mail, and I'll say that these are the job skill sets that I require, and if you know someone who already has these skill sets, who are good at these things, okay, and regardless of the fact that if they have some experience, or if they have some understanding of the skills that we require them to have, और इवन द इंटेलिजेंस क्वोशंट, ठीक है, अगर इतना इंटेलिजेंस भी है तो वो भी, these could be some of the requirements that I could have. So I'll send across a mail to all of my employees to seek referrals. ठीक है, employee referrals, this is called the system of employee referrals. So about a lakh of people will probably would probably be sent a mail, and say 10,000 or at least 1,000 of them, reply or refer, ठीक है, some of their friends and relatives, for this job. So what I'm trying to say is that this sort of job, ठीक है, which requires say 100 200 people, ठीक है, uh, it will be cheaper for me if I do not have to advertise. ठीक है, if at all I have to advertise, because I do not have those employees, who can refer to me, all these future employees, then I probably have to go and advertise on the internet, or on the social media, or uh, on newspaper. That would bring me a cost. But the most cost effective place would be employee referrals. So what I'm trying to say is that the second best sort of jobs, ठीक है, would not come out in the market as well. ठीक है, मतलब nobody would even come to know if you able to grow through the employee referrals. Out in the market, nobody would even come to know if these jobs exist, or if these jobs requirements ever came out. ठीक है, which means that if you're just waiting for any advertisement to come, and then if you're waiting that I'll probably apply, or if you're waiting for all these companies to come to your university and then offer you jobs, I think you'll just keep on waiting, because they will never come, because they would save their money. They would just save their cost. They are looking for people, and there are millions of people, employable people in the world. If you think that you're probably unique in some or the other way, maybe you are, but then there would be hundreds and thousands of people like you at any given point of time. So for for an employer, you are not as important as you think you are, or you should be. So what I'm trying to say is that even if you are somewhere there, with some skill sets, nobody knows you. The companies do not know that you exist there, and they would never be able to communicate with you, and you would never be able to know about this information. You would never be able to know about their requirements. If maybe possibly, if luckily you have relatives who are already working and who are probably at a good position to let you know about these job openings, then you probably might be lucky. But if you're so lucky, I do not think that everybody is going to be so lucky, in a given classroom in a university. So so these jobs will never come to you. Employee referrals होगा, they would refer, these employees would refer, and there is a certain quotient of trust, because you already an employee. For example, for me, if I am an owner, or if I am a chairman of an organization, I already know my employees. And then if I'm getting referrals, I think I would prefer them, because why not, because I know that I trust my employees, and if they are referring to an employee to me, I think they would also have some level, because thoda discerning to hoga at least, because my employees would be a little discerning, because they know that they cannot really send a referral which has no value and which is absolutely crass. So I can be sure of some quality that I deserve, that I expect, and then it would be very cost effective for me. Absolutely, because I don't even have to send people out in the market, in the universities, to recruit people, right? And I get the kind of employees, the skill sets that I require. Now, you might ask me a question that, well, what about experience? Maybe all these jobs require experience. But the answer is that no, not really, not probably. Not every time do they want experience. In fact, the moment they require experience, or they're asking for experience, it only probably means that they're looking for those skill sets. Just imagine a 50-year-old employee, who has been working in the design department. Now he has experience, and he has a lot of designs and things that he has done, but he probably is not very comfortable with using new technology and newer ways to develop designs, for example. So a complete fresher, but with an insight and experience, not experience, but just interest in these areas, would be so much fresh. Maybe if I'm looking for something in the design department, for example, or even creating or making an application, or developing a code for any software, I think somebody from the new generation can be as competitive as somebody from an earlier generation, and can be useful for me. ठीक है, मतलब maybe I have a product which caters to the absolutely new generation. ठीक है, तो to know their ethos, to know how they feel, to know how they react, I probably would hire, and I would probably use a design element from a youngster, from absolute fresher, who is as fresh um, as the customers that my company represents. ठीक है, so you never know, what sort of skills that you have, and even the lack of experience can be so useful at times. But lack of experience is not equivalent to to skills, for example. ठीक है, तो if you probably have lack of experience, that must mean that you have certain new skills, some exciting new fresh ideas that's propping up in your mind. Okay, so you do understand that there is a huge area of or a complete strata of jobs that you can be absolutely oblivious to. You would never come to know about it. That's a scary thing, if you think about it. You probably working or learning or studying in the best of the universities and colleges in the country, but still the best of the jobs would never come to you. That's scary. That's absolutely scary, because you've invested your time and your money and your hard work, right? Okay, so now I'll come to the third kind of jobs. Take it, the specialist jobs, for example. Now, okay, let's not call it the specialist jobs. Let's call it the same strata of jobs, but now there's some difference. ठीक है, there's some difference. Maybe uh, whatever the best kind of jobs, ठीक है, without experience. We are talking about jobs which require no experience, for example. So now I'm trying to get the best jobs, and the best jobs there are, even for the freshers, in an organization. I think what will be the best way to get the job? ठीक है, I think in whose minds or in whose presence should we display our skill sets, ठीक है, so that we have the best opportunity to get the job. Who decides our candidature? ठीक है, who decides if we become an employee? I think the first round, you go through a group discussion, then you go through an interview, and then you go through at least 3 or 4 rounds of interviews. And the last round of, somebody would be your immediate boss, somebody would be your department boss, somebody would be maybe the marketing head, and the last and the most important person, for example, would be somebody important. Who? Maybe the CEO, maybe the technical head, the CTO, maybe even the marketing CXO, or even the marketing head. If they are the most important people in an organization. So let's return to the previous example. Okay, what I said is that if a company, if an organization wants some employees, it sends out some mail to, or it generally communicates to the employees that they already have. Okay, so now if somebody is referring me an employee, I would look at them. Okay, but what if I personally know, okay, I'm the chairman, or I'm the CEO, or I'm the CXO, or even the marketing head of my own company. And what if I know, what if they're not my relatives, okay, but I know certain students, or I know certain prospective employees, okay, myself, I know them from the past 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 years, and I know what have been they doing, how have they been thinking, okay, what their mindsets are, what skill sets have they been acquiring, okay, if I know about them, if I really trust them, okay, just imagine if I personally know you, and if you are being referred to me by one of my employees, I think the fact that I personally know you would play a greater role into it. Okay, I would have more trust, and I would prefer you over anybody else. Okay, because I know you. Okay, I know you, and because of the rapport that you have with me, I can have more control on you. I can probably use a lot of my soft power for my own benefit, or for the benefit of the organization. So what I'm trying to say is that if you want the best jobs in the industry, you have to probably get into the mind of the one who gives you the job, or who is at that stature to give you a job. ठीक है, वो इंडस्ट्री हेड के दिमाग में, or to get to know him, I think, would be the best way to get the best of jobs. Just imagine if there are just 2 or 5 jobs in the whole of the industry, or let's say in an organization, the best jobs that they exist, with the best skill sets that they require, or the best possibility of improvement and progress and success. ठीक है, if there is anything that exists, and if that's the best, ठीक है, why not grab it, why not look for it, or why not move towards it? ठीक है, तो मेरा what I'm trying to say is that these important people are important for even getting a job, if you want to get into the corporates, the industry, right? That means to have network, or to have a connection, okay, or to make an impression into the minds of these people who are the employers, who could be your future employers, okay, would be important, would be essential, would be the best thing that you can do. Okay, I think this would be the most smart thing that you can do, to have a place, to have 10 places for you in the market already, in these organizations, in the industry already, even before you enter into the job market. Which means that before even you graduate, okay, you would have a job waiting for you, which would be the best in the market, for example, with the best opportunities to grow in the future. And how to get these jobs, ठीक है, how to get these jobs. तो देखो, इसका आंसर ये है कि if you go out in the market, if you ask for something, ठीक है, if you ever go out anywhere and if you ask for something, I don't think you'll ever be valued. But if you offer something, if you give something, ठीक है, then people would just remember you forever. ठीक है, they would just remember you, they would cherish the fact that they ever met you. ठीक है, so what I'm trying to say is that whenever you meet someone, ठीक है, whenever, even if you're making connections, the best way to make connections is not by asking for something. ठीक है, it's not by asking your time, or your connections, or your reference, or any monetary help, or any other help that the best way to have a connection is by offering something. But what can you offer? ठीक है, what do you have मतलब, as students, what do you have? I think what you have is what you're learning, and what you're learning is knowledge, is the skills that you're acquiring. ठीक है, and how can you display it? ठीक है, I think display needs मतलब टाइम. ठीक है, मतलब आपने अगर वीडियो भी बनाकर भेजा, ठीक है, if you probably even want a platform where you can display it, ठीक है, people would require time. ठीक है, somebody from the CEO level of expertise, ठीक है, they would not really have time to look for skills or talent like that, because they have people to look for talent, and they work in a certain manner. They go in the when they have to tap talent for thousands of people, they go to colleges. When they want other sort of talent, they look for the platforms. तो वो सीईओ के दिमाग में कैसे घुसेंगे? ठीक है, how to enter that the mind, the attention of those very important people. ठीक है, तो as I said, do not ever ask for something, but offer something. ठीक है, and what can you offer? Knowledge. ठीक है, it's strange that what knowledge that you're gaining, or what knowledge you're aggregating, ठीक है, if you can use something out of that, and if you can give to these people who are actually even creating information, to be honest. Okay. तो ठीक है, at least I hope that you understand that networking is important. I hope that you understand that to contact, or to have connection with these important CEO level, CXO level people is important, right? So how to do that? And there can be many ways. ठीक है, I'm very sure that to get the best jobs, as we have just discussed, ठीक है, and to get into the minds of these people, there can be many ways. ठीक है, there can be conferences where you go and you interact with them, and you do not really ask, ठीक है, you do not really मतलब ask for a favor, but you offer them that for example, Tesla. If Tesla is coming out, or if they are producing cars, if they are manufacturing cars here, and if Elon Musk comes here and they have a conference, they're talking to the media, they're talking to people. So what do you do as enthusiast? ठीक है, you can be a part of it. You can be a part of the media conclave that there is, and you can be a part of it. ठीक है, you can probably go and talk to them. You can probably speak to them while they're asking questions, while they're even answering questions to the media. ठीक है, you can be a part of the media, and this platform would be so critical. Would be so critical. We'll just see. So what are you going to talk to them? ठीक है, probably ask questions. ठीक है, ask them questions if you have the opportunity to talk to them. ठीक है, relevant questions. Questions which nobody else is probably thinking about. ठीक है, something which is intelligent, which is probably worked on, researched on. आपने कुछ research किया, आपने कुछ अच्छे से सोचा है. ठीक है, and then that question, no other journalist asks. ठीक है, journalist क्या कर रहे हो? Normally कुछ भी कुछ question पूछ रहे हैं. Maybe they're not really experts. They're not engineers, for example. But you being an engineer, or you being somebody from your own field, your own scientific background that you're from, I think you can probably ask better questions. ठीक है, you probably can have better insights. You can research, you can read, and you can find out what matters. ठीक है, what they say. We've already understood that what people say would probably would not probably what they mean. ठीक है, so they can be very smart ways in talking about things. ठीक है, they can be certain ways in which you highlight, you show, and you display, ठीक है, the beautiful things, the good aspects, while hiding some critical features. Now, to criticize also can be a creative activity by not really criticizing in a punitive manner, or in an insulting manner, but to criticize in a very constructive manner, in a certain way where the person that you're trying to criticize, the person that you're trying to criticize, you do not really offend them. ठीक है, in fact, through your criticism, through your positive criticism, you offer them the chance of an improvement, where you also probably highlight that, look, I understand, and I'm intelligent enough to understand this, and I'm still not antagonistically opposed to you, but let's see if we can improve, and we can do something about the problem that exists. ठीक है, मतलब these can be smart ways to communicate. ठीक है, where you are able to highlight, or even in a sea of people, ठीक है, you are able to communicate specific things to just one specific person. ठीक है, aren't there eye contacts, aren't there subtle ways to speak, or to convey things, aren't there body languages that convey one to one, even surrounded by hundreds of people, for example. ठीक है, there can be subtle ways. So even in speech, even in presentation, even in questioning, even in criticism, these smart ways can be practiced. Okay. So this knowledge, ठीक है, this information, this is probably what I'm asking you to present, ठीक है, or to use it, to fiddle with it, and to make connections. तो कहाँ पे आप connections make करेंगे? ठीक है, maybe if conferences में, if you get them, if you meet them, ठीक है, what else can be done? ठीक है, I think what can be done is that you first identify what area that you want yourself to be working in. Whatever your interest zones are, interest industries are, have a good information on what's happening. ठीक है, आप पूरा उसको पढ़िए. ठीक है, मतलब keep yourself updated. ठीक है, read about, go on their websites. ठीक है, keep watching what's been happening. ठीक है, watch videos, watch news, read news, ठीक है, read news on that, ठीक है, read about economic things, ठीक है, read about international relations, read about what countries are experiencing, what laws and prospects, if somebody has more tax, if somebody is producing cheaper coal or cheaper steel, there can be so many things, thousands of things. And in these 4 years of your 3 or 4 years of your studies, I think these would be so critical. I mean, you can aggregate so much of knowledge that you would understand what's been happening. If there is a news in the media, say tomorrow, you would understand, you would probably be able to interpret and analyze what's happening, because what generally is spoken is not what is the reality. It's not what's really meant. ठीक है, information is mostly passed, critical information is mostly passed very discreetly, ठीक है, but with knowledge and with this insight, ठीक है, which can easily be developed in 2 or 3 years of time, just by reading everything and analyzing everything and watching things, so to read about these industries, read about what's happening there, ठीक है, read about all these things, read about your competitors, read about the companies that you prefer and their competition, what's happening, what they are doing, ठीक है, have information, have knowledge about everything, ठीक है, that would be so critical. Now, what do you do with these informations, ठीक है? So now with this information, ठीक है, this information, that's देखो, you can either develop these informations and then talk to them, ठीक है, but that would be time wasted. क्यों आपने 4 साल काम किया, आप 4 साल मतलब रिसर्च किया, पढ़ा लिखा सब कुछ किया, and then you think that, oh, I'm good enough to talk to them or to suggest them something. But to be honest, the experts that they are in the market who are producing things, you can never really be up to the same even knowledge में आप उसके बराबरी का, I think it will be slightly difficult. So the best thing is that you show your interest and you contact these people, these important people. You identify, you yourself identify the organizations, the industry, the companies and the people that there are, ठीक है, all these critical people, make a list of them, ठीक है, send them mails, ठीक है, but when you send them mails, don't send them mails कि hi sir मैं ये हूँ and then I want a job after I graduate in the from the industry, from my college, आज 4 साल के बाद job चाहिए. This is not what you probably have to speak, ठीक है, what you probably have to speak is something else, ठीक है, in different ways, ठीक है, show your interest, show that, so I am interested in this and this, and I just have found, or I have a question, ठीक है, I have a question that works in this way or that manner, and what can be the future, ठीक है, if do you think, sir, that I should gain more skill sets or experience in this area, and then I'm looking to join your organization because I really value and I really think that you're doing great work, or this and that, or in the future 4 years I think your company is going to grow 4 folds, ठीक है, so I would want to grow with your growing company, and I want to align myself and my philosophy and my ideas, ठीक है, at this point of time from you, and then I want to learn, and then I want to prepare myself as an ideal employee of your organization, ठीक है, so this platform that you have of being students in this great university, ठीक है, you can probably use your status, your platform to have reserved a job, the best job that you want. In fact, not just one, maybe you would probably have 10 offers, okay, when you graduate from the industry, and make connections and make good relations with all of them, and you would have the best job in the industry, okay. The moment you graduate, you would not probably even have to sit for the third strata of jobs that would generally be offered in the colleges, when they come for campus recruitments. Okay, so and I think it makes sense because say Facebook, if Facebook offers the best jobs, I don't think that even if they offer 50 lakh as salary, I don't think they would offer this salary or this job to more than 2 or 3 people. I think even if they come to the university to recruit people, I think it's because it's not just cheapest for them, it's also convenient for them, and they know that they would probably get the best brains at the best places, okay. If Tejpur University has a great name in robotics, I think a company which works in the robotics, I think they would come to university because they know that out of these 100 students they can probably find the two best of the two best, at coding or something like that. सो ये मार्केट इंटेलिजेंस इसी को बोलते हैं, मार्केट अंडरस्टैंडिंग भी यहीं से निकलता है, और स्ट्रैटेजी भी यहीं से बनता है, ठीक है. यू मेक स्ट्रैटेजीज फ्रॉम द प्लेस यू आर, एंड योर स्ट्रैटेजीज कुड बी सो डिफरेंट फ्रॉम समबडी एल्स, हु इज प्रॉब्ली एट अ डिफरेंट प्लेस, ठीक है, इन अ डिफरेंट game altogether. All the strategies would be so personal, to be very honest. Okay. So one of the ways is to contact them, ठीक है, with some information to and with some help that you want to give them, ठीक है, or some interest that you develop or you display, ठीक है, with a view of alignment in the future. And do not ever think that you cannot talk to any minister or any CEO or any big shot in the industry, in the business, or government, area. You can talk to anyone, ठीक है, they're all public people, and the meaning of somebody who's public is what it means is that they're available, they can be channels, they can be ways to contact them, to send them a mail, to communicate with them, to even talk to them over the phone, or to talk to them, to speak to them, to ask them questions when they present themselves in a conference, or something like that, a place like that. You can be a part of the conference. Nowadays it's very easy because अब तो आप ऑनलाइन आप कुछ भी, आप कहीं पे भी किसी भी कॉन्फ्रेंस में डाल सकते हैं, ठीक है. फिक्की होता है, एसोचैम होता है, बहुत, देयर सो मेनी ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस, व्हिच these are both, these are one of the best organizations which have great conferences of industry people, ठीक है. तो send them a mail and ask them ki please send me newsletters. For example, I get every mail by Ficky and Asosham, ठीक है, and I know everywhere, wherever, whenever any dignitary is speaking, any industry people are speaking, or if they are available at a conference, or even to talk to them, ठीक है. It's very easy, मतलब आप बस मेल भेजिए, और या फिर choose your companies, choose your industries, and talk to them and send them a mail, and ask them कि आप newsletters में मुझे please join कीजिए, मुझे, and you would keep getting information, ठीक है. You would be associated, you would be in contact with them. You send them a mail, you communicate, you send them mail something कुछ interesting, sir, कि sir, I've come up with this, I have a plan, I have an idea, or this and that, ठीक है. Maybe if you personally have a good idea which can make you an entrepreneur, don't really reveal that, don't really give out to people like that, but make some hints, ठीक है, make some hints, and maybe in a different manner, maybe in a very subtle or discreet manner, ठीक है. show them that you have the potential, ठीक है. मतलब कुछ इंटरेस्टिंग सोचो. अब देखो हम लोग कितना प्रैक्टिस कर रहे हैं ना, हम लोग न्यूज़ पढ़ रहे हैं, हम लोग रिपोर्ट्स पढ़ रहे हैं, हम लोग उसको एनालाइज कर रहे हैं, वी आर ट्राइंग टू मेक समथिंग, ठीक है, प्रोड्यूस सम डेटा, सम इंफॉर्मेशन, और सम यूजेबल मटेरियल, सम आर्गुमेंट्स फ्रॉम इट, राइट. वी एट लीस्ट ट्राइंग टू अंडरस्टैंड इन्फॉर्मेशन, ठीक है. इट विल टेक सम टाइम, बट develop something like this, take it, go in the same direction, go in the same field, and then you would probably see that you can make articles, you can write articles, you can send your articles, and you can get them published in newspapers and magazines, which absolutely do not ever get unrecognized, मतलब जो भी important अगर कोई भी article होगा, तो industry people, like they are PR experts which are scanning all the news every day, and if they see a news, or if they see an article with your name, and if that article makes sense, ठीक है, you would be recognized before even you know it, ठीक है. Maybe months before they even let you know that they have recognized you, you would be recognized, ठीक है, and they would be watching you everywhere on the social media, here and there. And I'll tell you what, I have my previous uh, students, like previous year students, last year students, on my Facebook, like they joined me, they sent me requests, and I realized that a lot of them, do not know the importance of the fact that you have to keep, you have to behave, matlab, at least not in a stupid manner, whatever you share should not be absolutely so stupid that somebody hates you, or somebody thinks that, oh, you do not have brain, or if they have an insight into your own minds, आपका खुद का कुछ idea हो सकता है कुछ किसी दूसरे को गंदा लगे, ठीक है? तो you have to be very careful about that. Whatever you share on the social media, everybody sees that, ठीक है? Your employers would absolutely go on your social media accounts, and they would completely scan, ठीक है, all the memes and all the things that you've shared in the past 10 years, that's just true. Okay, if I have to look for an employee, I would look for all the information that they exist on the internet. Okay, everybody does that. Okay, if you think that nobody looks or nobody would look at your social media platform, okay, before giving you employment, I think it's just you're going to be blind. ठीक है, किसी भी नौकरी के पहले वो सब कुछ स्कैन करेंगे आप. You have to maintain that whatever you share on social media is very important. In fact, if you make a derogatory statement, if you make a very inflammatory statement, ठीक है, you can be jailed for it, won't you? So it's important they all look at it, ठीक है? It's there, it's an extension of your personality. That's very important, your social media handles and platforms. Okay. तो आप वैसा कीजिए, आप आर्टिकल लिखिए, पब्लिश करवाइए, या फिर यू राइट लेटर, ठीक है, टॉक टू देम, ठीक है, से आई हैव इंटरेस्ट इन दीज एंड दीज थिंग्स, ठीक है? अगर आप इन्फॉर्मेशन देते रहेंगे, आई वर्क इन, आई एम स्टडिंग इन दिस कॉलेज, दिस इज लाइक दिस, आई वुड बी एसोसिएटेड, आई वुड लाइक टू बी, और कुछ भी न्यूज़ दीजिए, आई एम ऑल्सो वर्किंग ऑन रोबोटिक्स, इफ आई एम वर्किंग ऑन दिस एंड दैट, आपका जो भी ओला है या फिर जोमेटो है, आई एम ऑल्सो इंटरेस्टेड इन डूइंग समथिंग लाइक दिस, मैं भी ऐसा ऐसा कुछ कर रहा हूँ, आई एम डेवलपिंग समथिंग लाइक दिस, ठीक है? इफ यू हैव एनी प्रॉब्लम्स, ठीक है, some problems that you're probably finding those solutions for, ठीक है, you can probably let me know as well, sir, because I would like to be associated in certain manner, and I look myself in the future to align myself all my skills, ठीक है, for your industry, for in this industry, or something like that. खुद से सोचो whatever best, the words, all the concepts that you can come out. But what's important is that to get the best jobs, you have to be in contact with the best of the people, and to have a connection or relationship with them for years, ठीक है, before of being offered, ठीक है, from your seat, from your bed, ठीक है, being offered the best jobs that you can expect in the market, in the whole of the country, even sometimes in the whole of the world, right? Because wherever you are, ठीक है, nobody can come and look at you, ठीक है, you probably have to shout out and let people know that you exist. And how would you do that? You can only do that by displaying your creative or your intelligent the outputs or your creations, ठीक है, by shouting out, by letting out people know that you exist and you are here, and you can be a very prospective and a very promising employee in the future, right? तो देखो, give them what they want, give them what they are looking for, ठीक है? They're looking for intelligence, ठीक है, they're looking for some skills, ठीक है, display it to them, but do not display as if you're asking for something, ठीक है? Display it as if you're going to give them something, because ठीक है, they have the requirement, they have the requirement, they're giving you a job, they're giving you a salary just because they have the requirement, they need you, they require you. It's not as if they're doing any social service that you want a job, और हाथ जोड़ करके वहां पे सामने जाओगे तो तुमको जॉब मिल जाएगा. तुम कुछ भी करोगे तुमको जॉब नहीं मिलेगा जब तक तुम्हारे पास वो नहीं है जो उनको चाहिए, just skill sets, the intelligence, ठीक है, the insight, the direction, ठीक है, and the focus, ठीक है. Even ideas like ideology plays such huge major important roles, ठीक है. तो देखो, हमने अभी तक क्या किया है, कोशिश हमने क्या किया है, what we've been trying to do is that I've been trying to make you write things, ठीक है. Now people who are interested, who are writing things, who are reading and researching the way I've been showing them, ठीक है, I'm sure that they would learn something and they would be of more importance than anybody else, ठीक है. And just imagine, nobody teaches this thing, ठीक है, nobody really teaches, any student, ठीक है, how to make connections, while being a student at this point of time. एंड दे वुड बी वेरी लेस जॉब्स इन द फ्यूचर. ठीक है, 4 साल के बाद 2025 के आसपास में दे वुड बी 50% लेस जॉब्स, ठीक है, दैट दे एग्जिस्ट इन द मार्केट, बिकॉज most of them would be gone to artificial and machine intelligence, machine learning. ठीक है, तो there would be competition and the population is increasing. ठीक है, the number of students graduating would be always increasing, and they all would be looking for jobs. If you want the best jobs in the market, and just imagine how many students are, maybe 100, maybe 200, maybe 500 students in the whole of the country, there would be enough jobs for you all. ठीक है, for you all. And if you can all be the best in the industry and make connections and be highlighted, ठीक है, this would bring great, enormous um, accolades and recognition for your own industry, for your own university. और आगे के बैचेस को भी बहुत easy होगा jobs लेना. ठीक है, this is a mechanism that you probably have to get into rolling, that get into motion. तो ये कनेक्शंस मेक कीजिए, दिमाग खोलिए, बात कीजिए, ठीक है, कांटेक्ट कीजिए, मेक नेटवर्क्स, and then you would probably get the best jobs. And all the other universities and colleges in the whole of the country, ठीक है, they would be looking at some other ways to get the jobs. They would be waiting, they would keep waiting for the jobs which would never come to them. But you can reach out to the best jobs that would ever be created in the industry in a given year, in a given in a given environment. ठीक है, so I think you've understood something, and I end this, and as I've said, that I can probably help you with getting published, these articles, and what you can probably do is keep writing articles, keep writing something or the other, ठीक है, keep getting them published. आपका portfolio भी बनता रहेगा, and you can have great advantages, with these outputs. ठीक है, आप किसी भी साइंटिफिक साइंस में, किसी भी चीज में, आप जहां पे भी कुछ पढ़ रहे हैं, लिख रहे हैं, ठीक है, जो भी कर रहे हैं, वहां पे क्रिएट समथिंग ऑफ वैल्यू. ठीक है, रिसर्च, डू समथिंग, क्रिएट सम न्यू वैल्यू, राइट इट, जस्ट राइट इट एंड गेट इट पब्लिश्ड. और इफ यू और सेंड देम, और कॉन्टैक्ट, और टॉक टू पीपल इन द इंडस्ट्री which who matter. ठीक है, ओके, थैंक यू सो मच, हैव अ गुड डे, बाय बाय.